PDF, it first has to be saved from something else, and that whatever it was saved from, I'm sure I can integrate into Excel or spreadsheet.
What type of format do you need?
I could take comma delineated, I could take text, it doesn't really matter. You know, Excel would be fine. I mean, those formats are all pretty interchangeable.
Okay, we'll look into that.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to thank for getting this updated nursing home list, and I'm really quite impressed. I have not had a chance yet to check the voter history of the different nursing home judges. I was wondering, Commissioner, do you know if those voter histories were checked by any chance before they were assigned, or anything at all about this?
Well, Kelly could maybe give the details better, but my general, they say 10,000 level view is that the nursing home judges were selected from the panel in which the nursing home was located. And those particular judges, presumably on the Republican and Democrat side, were appointed by their respective party officials. So I don't know if after we had a sign-off, for example, by the county chairman, Mr. Delmar, there was a need for a voter history check, because we were relying on the fact that Mr. Delmar or somebody in his office had reviewed that judge and said, yes, this is a good Republican judge and I'm signing off on the person. So that's in general my understanding as to how that went. Now, I don't know if there were voter history checks done on others that had not been signed off by the chairman. Maybe, Kelly, you can comment on that.
I can't comment any more than you. I agree with your remarks. The party chair signed off, and that's who was selected because they work in a precinct.
Now, I heard there were some wards where, because there were so few Republican primary voters and so little identified Republican support in those wards, and people who had voted in the primaries, that the judges may have been selected in some other manner. I don't know the specifics in those instances.
I appreciate that. I think what we'll do then is I've got staffing teams that I will get to check the voter histories today for us. And it might not get all done today, but at the latest, we'll have it done in the morning. And then if there are some judges that we are concerned about, we will let somebody here know about it so that, you know, if there needs to be an adjustment, because, or I don't know what else to do in instances where they're not properly covered. But I know that regardless to whether or not there's enough Republicans in that ward, surely the rights of the nursing home voter is to have somebody there representing both parties.
Well, but my general
I know you're going to talk about poll watchers.
Certainly. Certainly. A poll watcher is then probably the best and strongest set of eyes that you can have at that nursing home. But are you suggesting that if your chairman signed off on a judge, you want to check
no,
that
I was more
judge's
interested.
voters
No,
history?
and I'm really talking because I haven't checked the history. I was just wanting to let you know that we're going to check them, and if I think you're correct that if Aaron signed off on them, that you know that we would assume that that process had been completed, as everybody was working so hard to do so at the time. You know, there was a lot of people staffing that. So, okay, then the issue of argon laboratories I wanted to raise because the Sun-Times came out with a little story yesterday and said that the board was complaining because the study might be partisan. And I don't know if that came directly from which member here or how that actually got to the newspaper. I don't recall them quoting the source, but I just wanted to make the statement that actually Illinois law sets up election security specifically as being partisan. There's no way to get around it. And so this study would not be conducted in a fashion that would be reflective of a political agenda. It's reflective of the natural partisan that is part of everything, although actually Defend the Vote is nonpartisan. I think that there's been this kind of tossing around about that whole nature, and there's no way to get around it. I couldn't do my job with Defend the Vote if one party or the other didn't support me to make sure that we had a fair balance of security there. And if the Democratic Party wanted to step up and say, we'll support you too, I would be embracing them as fast as I could. And I just wanted to make that point, because I feel like that's coming out in the papers, and it's a mischaracterization of election security in Illinois.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that very definitely came from me, and here's why. The question came up as to whether or not there was any kind of political motivation or anything like that. And the best way to put this is that the desire by the investigator was to hack the machine and turn over the results of the findings not to the election authority, but to a partisan organization.
Defend the Vote is nonpartisan.
No. He specifically said he was going to be turning it over to the people who financed his work, which was the Republican Renaissance PAC. So that was the remark that I made, that the concept of coming in 2 weeks beforehand, 2 weeks before the election, and saying we want to try to hack the equipment and turn over the results of the finding, not to you, to the election authority, for any kind of security measure, but to a partisan organization. Those were my words when I said it's absurd. So,
Let me clarify for you. Number one,
you-
Defend the Vote is nonpartisan. Number two, the study was financed by Champion News and by Illinois Taxpayer Foundation. Illinois Republican Renaissance PAC is not involved in any of our activities, actually. So that is a misunderstanding of how that works. And second of all, the process of going through and looking at, the board has never actually formally met, except last week we were able to meet with Dr. Roger Johnston. And if it is your desire to have a copy of the report turned over directly to you, I would be more than happy to oblige. I think I have shown all along that my real concern here is election security, and I have made a lot of changes, as have all of you, and I really applaud you for some of those changes. But our first audit investigation turned up some things that needed to be changed. You guys made those changes. None of that was done under a partisan hat. So I just wanted to clarify that, because I really think it's important.
I just, Ms. Meroni, if their interest is to correct any issues, I would think the first entity that you would turn over the report to would be to us, and we wouldn't really have to ask for the report.
Okay, I would agree to that. Why don't we both get it at the same time? I'm good with that totally.
and
Absolutely. Unchanged, unaltered untouched by our hands. Okay, because I think there are no problems with that whatsoever.
Duly noted for the record.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Then in relation to election
Let me
security.
just
Oh, beg your pardon.
clarify something here. Is there something underway that will produce a report?
No, there is not.
Okay,
There's
I
not,
thought
yeah.
that the question of the machinery and whatever had been resolved previously, that we can't do that because of the contractual restrictions.
Well, actually, yes, the investigation is underway. And I've tried to say that over and over again. We are doing a vulnerability assessment, and it is underway. And so that was why we came and asked to go and look at the warehouses. For some reason, we've been denied that access, and we don't like that. But we understand that everybody's doing the best that they can right now, so I'm not carrying that as being my big banner. As far as the resolution of the issues related to the testing of the machine, I know that you weren't at the meeting that Mr. Goff had us at, because it was just Dr. Johnston and a few of those of us. I think Kelly was there as well. And in that meeting, we did not resolve the issue of the custody of the machines. We did agree that if we need to, we will purchase it, and that we would also continue the dialogue as soon as the election is over. And so I was able to meet with your representative, Mr. Kramer, as well, who works for
So that communication has been had.
Yeah, but I'm still concerned about the fact that we don't have access to the code. That seems to me crazy that the public can't see the code that runs the machines, but I don't think I'm going to solve that problem today. So we'll just keep that one up there on the list.
Sure.
Going forward, with election security at the warehouses after voting, we would like to be able to have some viewers there to observe that entire process. Is there anything special that needs to accomplish that I don't think it's ever really been documented how everything goes forward, you know, from when the ballots arrive and where they're shipped back here. We wanted to document that process.